Welcome to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries. Book, Perennial Seller, The Art of Making and Marketing Work That Lasts by Ryan Holiday. Imagine this. You have an idea burning inside you, a spark that refuses to die. It could be a book, a song, a product, or a vision. But the world is loud, crowded, and distracted. Everyone is chasing trends, viral hits, and instant fame. But you want something more. You want your work to endure. You want it to matter long after the applause fades. Ryan Holiday, in Perennial Seller, tells us that creating something that lasts is not about luck. It is about mastery, vision, and courage. It begins with the relentless pursuit of quality, the refusal to settle, the willingness to rewrite, refine, and polish, until your work could survive a century of scrutiny. You must obsess over the craft itself, not the applause it might earn. Because excellence is the only foundation on which anything truly eternal can stand. But creating something extraordinary is only half the battle. Your work must speak to the world. It must be understood, felt, and remembered. Position it with clarity. Package it with purpose. Connect it to the hearts of your audience, not just their minds. People don't remember features. They remember emotion. Great ideas find life when they resonate deeply and become part of someone else's story. And then comes the most crucial step, sharing your work with integrity and courage. Marketing is not manipulation, it is stewardship. Stand behind your creation. Build relationships. Nurture your audience. Guide your work into the world one person at a time. Virality fades. Legacy endures. The goal is not to shine for a moment, but to ignite a flame that lasts decades, even generations. Holiday's message is electrifying. Creating something that lasts is not a choice, it is a discipline. Craft with excellence. Position with clarity. Share with integrity. Do these, and your work will not merely exist. It will inspire, endure, and echo through time. So rise above the fleeting trends. Ignore the noise. Build something that matters. Build something perennial. Part 1. The Eternal Standard. Creating work that stands the test of time. There's a difference between a spark and a flame. A spark flares, dazzles, and dies in moments. But a flame endures. It warms, it illuminates, it lives, long after the noise has faded. In Perennial Seller, The Art of Making and Marketing Work That Lasts, Ryan Holiday takes us on a fierce, introspective journey into the soul of creation itself. He asks a question that every writer, artist, entrepreneur, or dreamer secretly wrestles with. How do you create something that doesn't just succeed, but lasts? This is not a book about viral hits or overnight fame. It's about crafting something so solid, so meaningful, so true, that it refuses to fade. It's about creating work that keeps selling, influencing, and inspiring, year after year, generation after generation. And to do that, Holiday says, you must begin not with marketing, not with trends, but with mastery. He begins this first part, the creative process, with a sobering reminder. Greatness cannot be hacked. No trick, no algorithm, no shortcut will ever replace the discipline of deep work. Too many creators today chase relevance instead of resonance. They run after numbers instead of legacy. But if you wish to create something perennial, a book that's still read in 50 years, a product still loved by future generations, you must dare to build something timeless, not trendy. Ryan Holiday invites us into the sacred furnace of creation, the place where ideas are born not out of impulse, but out of purpose. He tells us that every enduring work begins with a calling, a burning question that refuses to leave its creator alone. It's not about chasing success. It's about solving something that matters deeply to you. He reminds us of examples, authors like Harper Lee, who wrote one book that shook the world, artists like Picasso, who reinvented himself countless times, yet remained true to his essence, companies like Patagonia, whose products are designed to last, not to expire. These creators share one thing in common. They obsessed over the work itself. Holiday insists that the foundation of any perennial seller is quality, not hype, not gimmicks, not viral appeal, but craft. Craft born from patience, humility, and persistence. He dismantles the myth of inspiration and replaces it with the truth of iteration. The greats, he says, rewrite more than they write. They polish until the work shines, without their voice to explain it. They aren't driven by applause. They're driven by standards. He paints the process as both sacred and brutal. There's no glory in shortcuts. The world may never see your drafts, your failures, your lonely hours of editing and revising. But those invisible struggles are what separate the ordinary from the eternal. In his words, the work you do before anyone sees it is what determines how long it will live once they do. And so Holiday challenges every creator. What are you building? A product for the moment or a masterpiece for the ages? He warns us about the seductive pull of modern metrics. The likes, the followers, the temporary attention. These, he says, are the sugar highs of creation. Quick bursts of validation that vanish as fast as they come. True creators, he argues, don't chase recognition. They chase meaning. They don't ask, how can I get attention? They ask, what will endure? In this part, Holiday also explores the concept of timelessness versus timeliness. Many creators obsess over being relevant, reflecting the moment, echoing the trend. But relevance fades the moment the next thing arrives. Timelessness, however, transcends the moment. It speaks to something universal, the deep truths of human experience. Love, fear, courage, loss, growth. These are not trends, they are constants. When your work touches those, it becomes perennial. But how do you build that kind of work? Holiday offers the blueprint. Start with what's true, not what's fashionable. Aim for clarity, not complexity. Refine relentlessly until every word, note, or design element serves the core purpose. Make peace with obscurity, for greatness requires patience. He reminds us of a humbling truth. You are not owed attention. The world doesn't owe you an audience simply because you made something. You must earn that audience by creating something so undeniably good that it cannot be ignored. Holiday's tone in this first part is both a rallying cry and a challenge. He calls creators to rise above the noise, to reject mediocrity, to embrace craftsmanship, and to pour every ounce of integrity into their work. He writes not as a marketer trying to sell success, but as a craftsman speaking to other craftsmen about the sacred responsibility of creation. He declares that every lasting work must first pass the test of its maker. If you wouldn't buy it, read it, use it, or believe in it yourself, why should anyone else? The creator must be the first evangelist and the first critic. Only then can the work hold power beyond its time. As part 1 draws to a close, Ryan Holiday leaves us standing at the crossroads of two creative paths, one of vanity and one of vision. One leads to temporary applause, the other to immortality. He asks us, will you create for now, or will you create forever? Because every day you sit down to write, paint, design, or build, you're making a choice. Not just about your work, but about your legacy. And as you finish this first part, one truth echoes louder than ever. To create something that lasts, you must first become someone who lasts. Part 2. Positioning and packaging, making the world care about your work. Every masterpiece, no matter how brilliant, faces a simple truth. It must be found to be felt. A book unread, a song unheard, an invention unseen. These are tragedies of the creative world. Ryan Holiday, in the second part of Perennial Seller, The Art of Making and Marketing Work That Lasts, turns from creation to communication. Because after you've built something great, your mission shifts. You must now make the world see it, feel it, and believe in it. He opens this section with a striking statement. People don't buy the best product. They buy the one they can understand the fastest. And there lies the heart of positioning. The art of framing your work so that people get it instantly. You can have the most beautiful novel, the most transformative product, or the most innovative idea. But if you fail to position it in a way that resonates with your audience, it will die in silence. Holiday dismantles the myth that great work sells itself. It doesn't. Not in this noisy, chaotic, distracted world. Even timeless work needs translation, something that bridges your creation and your audience's imagination. That bridge, he says, is positioning. He asks creators to step outside of their own egos and view their work from the audience's eyes. Who is it for? Why does it matter? How does it fit into their story, not just yours? Because until your work becomes meaningful to them, it will remain invisible. Holiday gives us an unflinching truth. Most creators make the mistake of assuming the audience already cares. But the audience is busy, skeptical, and overwhelmed. You must earn their care through clarity and purpose. He uses examples from history and business. Classics like The Catcher in the Rye, companies like Apple, musicians like Johnny Cash. Each succeeded not only because of their genius, but because they positioned that genius precisely. Apple didn't just sell technology, it sold creativity, rebellion, and beauty. J.D. Salinger didn't write a teenage story. He captured a generation's alienation. Positioning gives meaning to mastery. Holiday likens packaging to the cover on the treasure chest. It's not the treasure itself, but without it, no one opens the box. Your title, your visuals, your presentation, your tagline. These are not superficial. They are the keys to discovery. The greatest ideas can die in plain sight if they look boring, confusing, or generic. He reminds us that positioning and packaging are not selling out. They are showing up. They're acts of respect toward your audience. You've built something with soul. Now make sure it can reach the people who need it most. Holiday drops one of the most powerful lines of the book. If people don't care, it's not because they're stupid. It's because you didn't make them care. That statement pierces through every creator's pride and fear. It challenges us to take responsibility, not just for our art, but for how it lives in the world. He then explores the timeless formula for connection: simplicity, emotion, and story. The best works are not complex puzzles for the elite. They are mirrors for the human spirit. They tell a story that others can see themselves in. Think of the simplicity of Nike's Just Do It, or the resonance of Hemingway's For Sale Baby Shoes Never Worn. The message is brief, but the impact eternal. Holiday urges us to find our core narrative, that emotional heartbeat that gives our work identity. Because people don't remember features, they remember feelings. They remember how your work made them feel about themselves. He also reveals the importance of category ownership. To be remembered, your work must fit somewhere in the world's mental library. But here's the trick: it should fit uniquely. He challenges you to define your niche so precisely that you become synonymous with it. You don't compete within the category, you become the category. And then, as he often does, Holiday grounds this wisdom in humility. He reminds us that every creator must be both the artist and the architect, the visionary and the strategist. To refuse positioning and packaging is to abandon your work halfway through its journey. It's like writing a masterpiece and locking it in a drawer. Holiday's tone here is both instructive and urgent. He knows how easy it is for creators to get stuck in the purity of their art, to see marketing as manipulation. But he dismantles that illusion with a simple truth. Marketing is not manipulation, it's communication. If your work can help, heal, inspire, or entertain, then sharing it isn't arrogance, it's duty. In this part, Holiday also emphasizes consistency. Positioning is not a one-time act, it's an ongoing commitment. Every interview, social post, email, design choice, and conversation must reinforce the same message, the same spirit. Consistency breeds familiarity. Familiarity builds trust. Trust sustains longevity. He leaves us with a profound realization. The art of making work last is not just in creating it, but in translating its meaning to the world again and again, in every era, through every medium. By the end of part 2, we begin to see the architecture of immortality forming. The work is the foundation, but positioning is the structure that keeps it standing tall through time. Holiday's voice echoes through the pages like that of a mentor, speaking to the passionate but impatient artist. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs clarity. It needs truth. It needs your work, but only if you care enough to show it well. And with that, the lesson is clear. Creating is the art of expression. Positioning is the art of connection. Both are essential if you wish to build something perennial. Part 3. The art of marketing work that lasts. How great ideas find their place in the world. You've done it. You've fought the invisible battles of creation. You've poured your heart into something that means more than a quick applause. You've sculpted your idea into a masterpiece, something you believe deserves to live forever. But now comes the crucible that every artist dreads. The world must know it exists. This is where Ryan Holiday raises a powerful truth, one that echoes across centuries of art, invention, and innovation. Great work doesn't find an audience by accident. It finds one because someone cared enough to tell the world. Marketing, in the way Holiday defines it, is not manipulation. It's evangelism. It's the act of standing before the crowd and saying, "Here is something that can change your life, if only you let it." He reminds us that the world is full of people shouting, selling, and sensationalizing. But truly great work, it whispers first. Then it's shared, again and again, because it means something. Think of how ideas spread. One person connects deeply with your message and cannot help but share it. Then another. Then 10 more. Before long, you have something far more powerful than advertising. You have a movement. Holiday teaches that marketing must begin long before launch. You build relationships, not campaigns. You gather a tribe, not customers. You engage with your audience, not as a transaction, but as a conversation. He cites timeless examples, how Tim Ferriss tested the 4-hour workweek with readers long before publication, shaping it through feedback. How Iron Maiden cultivated fans one country at a time. How creators from Shakespeare to Steve Jobs wove anticipation, storytelling, and community into the fabric of their work. The message is clear. Your art deserves strategy. If you think marketing is beneath you, your work will be buried beneath the noise. But if you understand that marketing is an extension of your art, then every word, every post, every connection becomes part of your masterpiece. Then there's the secret ingredient: credibility. You can't demand attention. You earn it. You earn it through authenticity, through consistency, through the courage to speak your truth even when the world is not listening yet. Holiday speaks of platforms not as billboards, but as bridges, ways to connect what you've created to those who are waiting for it. He reminds you that your audience is not everyone, it's the right ones. And when you find them, you nurture them, serve them, and keep showing up for them. Because the goal isn't to go viral. The goal is to go vital. Viral fades, vital lasts. And as you grow, remember the eternal law of creative success. Every launch is just the beginning. The real work is in the years that follow, sustaining your message, refining your craft, continuing to show up when others have gone silent. For Holiday, longevity is not luck, it's discipline. It's the refusal to let your work die in the dark. It's the commitment to keep feeding your art oxygen long after the first spark has faded. So as part 3 closes, Holiday leaves us with this challenge. If you've created something worthy, stand behind it, champion it, share it, protect it. Because if your work truly has meaning, it deserves more than a fleeting spotlight. It deserves to become a perennial seller, a living, breathing legacy that stands tall, decade after decade, reminding the world that greatness never goes out of style. 3 takeaways from the book. 1. Mastery before fame. Quality is the foundation of longevity. The first secret to creating work that lasts is simple, yet often ignored. Make something undeniably excellent. Holiday emphasizes that no amount of marketing, hype, or luck can save work that lacks substance. Great creations are not accidents. They are born from relentless refinement, deep study, and uncompromising standards. Every draft rewritten, every skill honed, every detail perfected builds a work that can survive time, criticism, and changing trends. Your work must pass your own test of quality first. If you wouldn't champion it yourself, why should the world? The timeless creators, from Shakespeare to modern entrepreneurs, share this trait. They obsess over the craft, not the applause. Quality is not optional. It is non-negotiable. Positioning and connection make the world care about your work. Even the most brilliant work is meaningless if no one notices it. Holiday teaches that how you frame and share your creation is as important as the creation itself. Positioning is about clarity, helping your audience understand instantly why your work matters. Packaging is about resonance, presenting your ideas so they evoke curiosity, emotion, and action. People don't remember features, they remember feelings. By strategically positioning your work, telling its story, and connecting it to what truly matters to your audience, you turn a creation into a movement. The lesson is transformative. Your genius alone is not enough. Your work must speak to hearts, not just minds. Marketing as evangelism. Build a legacy, not a moment. The final key is understanding that marketing is not manipulation, it is stewardship. Your work deserves to live, and that means sharing it with intention, persistence, and integrity. Holiday shows us that marketing is an extension of your craft. Cultivating a loyal audience, nurturing relationships, and spreading your creation one person at a time. Virality is fleeting. Legacy is enduring. Great work does not seek instant fame. It seeks vitality, the ability to remain relevant, useful, and meaningful for years. By viewing marketing as service rather than self-promotion, creators transform their work from a passing trend into a perennial seller. In essence, craft work that can survive the harshest tests. Mastery first, recognition later. Make your work understandable, relatable, and emotionally resonant. Position it with clarity and care. Evangelize your work with integrity. Build connections and nurture longevity, not fleeting attention. Holiday's wisdom reminds us, creating something that lasts is not about chasing fame. It's about honoring the work itself, guiding it into the world, and allowing it to shape lives for generations. Thanks for listening to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries.